Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's the Educator here. Alright, so in this video we're going to be looking at BIO101 questions. Alright, so in this video I have divided what we're going to do into 6 sections, and in this video I'm going to be treating 3 sections, and after this video there will be a part 2 of this video which I'm going to drop the remaining 3 sections. Okay, for me dropping the remaining 3 sections, which is going to be the next video, will be dependent on how well this video gets engagement. Alright, so please do well to share to your friends. Don't just watch it alone. Share to your classmates, share to your departmental group chats, your faculty group chats, so that this video is going to have a lot of engagement. Now encouraged to drop the second video. Alright, and most importantly, please, if you are watching this video and you are not subscribed, please subscribe button. Please do well to subscribe before you start watching. Alright, so the first section we have macromolecules and characteristics of living things. So let's go. Question 1. Which of the following is not a characteristic of living things? I know somebody will be like, wow, what kind of question is this? This is very simple. This might be for 100 level. Yes, you see questions that you will even ask yourself, is this an 100 level exam? Yeah, they are very cheap questions. Right? So which of the following is not a characteristic of living things? Movement, respiration, reflection. Definitely you know answer and reflection. So generally by 101 is as simple as anything you can imagine. Trust me. You see some questions that they are not in your textbook, you were not taught, but then again they expect that you should know this kind of thing. Alright, so you come across questions like that, but trust me, they are simple. Question 2. Which process the process by which living organisms release energy from food is called respiration. Please take note. Respiration is the process by which energy is released from food. So by the time we take in food, the food is broken down to give us energy. That process that the food is broken down to give us energy is called respiration. Now take note, there's something that you should be concerned about. These questions that we're treating here, these questions that you are practicing, they are real exam questions, but there's something unique about BIO101. What will happen is that some of these questions will be rephrased. Alright, some of these questions will be rephrased, and trust me, it is very important for you to understand the main concept. So as we are going to be treating questions and then we are answering them, ensure you understand what we are doing and why we are picking that answer. Because if they rephrase this question, if you understand well, you'll be able to answer it. But then if they rephrase this question, so I can rephrase this question now, or you can see a rephrased version of this question, and you see something like, which of the characteristics of a living thing produces energy? And you're like, oh, what does not produce energy? Some persons will start thinking of organelles in the cell, but no, the characteristics is respiration. Okay, remember, respiration is the characteristic of living thing. The basic unit of carbohydrate is monosaccharide. Please take note, monosaccharide. Then you know amino acid is for proteins, then fatty acid is for lipids, nucleotide is for nucleic acid. Please take note of that. These are the basic units. If you don't see it as basic units, you see that building blocks. These two are the same. Basic units, building blocks, they are the same. Next question. Number 4. Which biomolecule is primarily responsible for long-term energy storage? Long-term energy storage is lipids. Please take note. When you see long-term energy storage, your mind should come to lipids. When you see short-term energy storage, your mind should come to carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is short-term. So what does this mean? It means that by the time we are taking in any food that is carbohydrate, the body is using it immediately, converting it to energy, right? And this energy is used. It does not last long. It is used immediately. But then lipid, as we're taking it, lipid is stored. It is only when there is no carbohydrate again as energy, that's when the body will now go to lipids. And so before your body goes to lipids, it means that you must have been fasting. That's why it's known as long term. Take a long period of time before it is used for energy or as energy. Then number 5, the building blocks of protein. Remember I said building block, basic unit, building block of protein is their amino acids. So amino acids, they arrange themselves to form proteins, right? Remember we have 4 levels of protein structure. We have the primary, then we have the secondary, then we have the tertiary, then we have the quaternary. Right? You should know that primary is linear, straight. Then secondary, when they bend it, maybe plated, helix, but when it's twisted, when it's no longer straight, it's secondary. Then tertiary is 3D structure. So when they say 3D structure of protein, what should come to your mind is tertiary. Then quaternary is the advanced and complex form of protein. And one example of quaternary protein is hemoglobin. It's very common. They tell you hemoglobin is what? Hemoglobin, it is quaternary structure of protein. Then amino acid. One thing again you should know about amino acid, there are 20 major amino acids or 20 important amino acids. And out of these 20, the simplest amino acid is known as glycine. That's the simplest amino acid, is known as glycine. Alright, so just for all these concepts, right? For all these concepts, because I'm not going to be explaining like this for some questions, but for all these concepts, you can get them in the crash course material created for BIO101. Alright, so just in case you don't have access to it, please do well to reach out to me on WhatsApp. Also, if you need my question bank, my BIO101 question bank, where I have about 300 questions, BIO101 questions, about 300, there's no way you will study those 300 questions and you are not expecting 90 in your exam. Right, so I'll be giving it to, alright, so I'll see that towards the end of it. So for now, I'm not going to say it, but then I'm not going to give it to everyone. Then I'm going to say it to specific people I'm going to give. So please do well to stay tuned to the end. Alright, so if you have watched to this point and have not subscribed, please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please. Next question. DNA belongs to which group of macromolecules? DNA, you know DNA is nucleic acid, right? And you know the brother of DNA is RNA. So it is very, very important for you to know the difference between DNA and then RNA. These two, you might see the question to tell you what the difference between RNA and DNA. You know that in RNA, there's a guy called as uracil. Then in DNA, there's a guy called as thymine. It's called thymine. Then in DNA, it's double-stranded. In RNA, it's single-stranded, and other differences like that. DNA is genetic material, RNA is for coding, and all of that. So you should take note of all those differences. Number 7, enzymes are being described as biological catalysts. Option B. Alright. Which macromolecule is mainly responsible for energy enzyme function? It is proteins. Please take note now. Proteins are responsible for enzyme function. So proteins, enzyme, you might not see protein in your question, but when you see enzyme, what will come to your mind is protein. Please take note. That's what you used to test. Number 9, a rise in temperature beyond the optimal course causes enzymes to denature, scatter the enzyme. The same thing happens to protein. So like I said, if you don't see enzyme, you see protein. So if they change this question and they say denaturation of protein is caused by what? Denaturation of protein is caused by rise in temperature. When it is exposed to high temperature, you have denatured the protein or the enzyme, right? Number 10, which of the following is the function of carbohydrates? Energy storage, genetic storage, no. Energy storage and supply, this is correct. Structural support only, this is wrong. But structural support is correct, but because it said only, it is wrong, because carbohydrates has more functions other than structural support. And you know hormonal production is wrong. So the correct answer is option B, energy storage and supply. Next question, which molecule is responsible for genetic inheritance? This one is very simple, DNA. Right, so you should know DNA and cell, they are related, and I'll tell you the relationship DNA and cell. There's this particular question that comes that will tell you cell is to DNA. What is inside DNA? You have gene, right? Gene. So you see this question, though we are going to still treat genetics, evolution, and others in the next video. But then you see gene and cell, they are related. What is the relationship? Cell is the basic unit of life, gene is the basic unit of inheritance. So both of them are both basic units. But so which of the following best describes homeostasis? This is maintenance of internal balance. So you see questions like this and you ask yourself, when they teach this one, then they expect you to know it. It is under characteristics of living things. Number 13, which macromolecule forms the main structural component of cell membrane? Lipids, right? Where you have phospholipid bilayer, right? Lipids. But then you can see carbohydrates in cell membrane, you can see proteins in cell membrane. But that's why they said which macromolecule form main, it is lipid. Number 14, which of the following is not a function of protein? Enzyme action, correct. Structural support, correct. Remember I said you can see protein in cell membrane, so structural support. Energy storage, wrong. Remember the two molecules that can store energy is lipid and carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is short term, lipid is long term. So the correct answer is energy storage. This is not a function of protein. Number 15, the ability of organisms to produce offspring. This is very, very simple. It's a very interesting topic that everybody likes listening to in class. So reproduction. Which biomolecule is most directly involved in information storage? You know, it's nucleic acid. Why? Because of DNA. DNA is the guy that is responsible for that. DNA. Which of the following is the product of respiration? The product of respiration is ATP. Please take note. The product of respiration is ATP. ATP is the product of respiration. Remember, respiration is providing what? Energy. And this energy is in the form of what? Respiration. Which macromolecule contains nitrogen? This one is a very common question. Once you see nitrogen, you just know it's protein. Number 19. Which of the following is an example of excretion? Digestion of food, wrong. Release of sweat, correct. So release of sweat is an example of excretion, right? So which of the following processes releases energy in cells? Energy. When you say releases energy, your mind should go to which process? Respiration. So you can see we've answered like 3 questions on respiration now. all of them are different. Alright, so next question. So that's all for the first section. So the next section now we're going to is the section 2, and section 2 will be looking at cell structure and then movement of material. So cell structure, basically what you know is that before you know cell structure, you know what cell is, cell, the basic unit of life. Then you also know the history of cell. Those scientists that discovered cell, who is the father of cell, who is the first man to discover cell, who is the first man to discover living cell. Those two are different. They say who is the first man to discover cell, the answer is Robert Hooke. But who is the first man to discover a living cell? The answer is Antonio von Leeuwenhoek. Please take note of that. Then those cell theories, you have Matthias Lending, you have Theodor Schwann, all of that. Please take note of them. But then that's not our major concern. Major concern is cell structure and movement of material. But then please take note of that also. And the year, you know the common year now, 1665. This year very common, 1665. All right, next question. The basic unit of life is cell. As simple as this question, you come across it. That's why I said biology, BIO101 is so sweet and simple. Which of the following is found in prokaryotic cell but absent in eukaryotic cell? Which of the following is found in prokaryotic cells but absent in eukaryotic cell? Now, you should know the differences between prokaryotic cells and then eukaryotic cells. So we have, let me say this is one cell and this is another cell. Right, then one cell has a nucleus. Say this is a nucleus, and then this is the nuclear membrane. And another cell just has something, not really a nucleus, but then something that is. So this one that has well-defined nucleus with nuclear membrane is known as the eukaryotes. Then this one is known as the prokaryotes. Alright, so what is absent is the nucleus. So which of the following is found in prokaryote cells but absent in eukaryote cells? Okay, this question is twisted. And twisted is probably when I was typing. It's meant to be which of the following is found in eukaryotic cells, but then it is not in prokaryotic cell. It is nucleus. Nucleus is in eukaryotic, but then in prokaryotic there is no nucleus. Number 3, the control center of the cell, the organ, is the nucleus. That's the control center of the cell. It gives instruction, more like the brain in human is the nucleus of the cell. Please take notes. Why the brain is giving control, sending instruction, what is sending instruction is the nucleus inside the cell. The site of aerobic respiration in the cell is the mitochondria. Mitochondria. That's where we have respiration. Remember I said respiration will produce what? Energy in form of ATP. And now where does this occur? It occurs in the mitochondria. Remember, but then there's a mechanism that allows this process to produce ATP, and that mechanism, it must be present of oxygen, aerobic respiration. That's why they specified it, aerobic respiration. So the type of respiration that is going on in the mitochondria to produce ATP is aerobic respiration. Please don't forget. Protein synthesis occurs in the ribosome. This one is very simple. You should also know the functions of organelles in the cell, because you'll be seeing questions to test if you know the functions of organelles of the cell. Which organelle is responsible for packaging and secretion? When you hear packaging, when you hear movement, transport, the organelle that does that is Golgi body. So what Golgi body does is that Golgi body will just see things like this. Let me say these are proteins, for example. What Golgi body will do is to take this protein and then we label this protein. Say you, your name is yellow. Then you, your name is green. Then you, your name is, which color is this one now? This is lemon, this is green. And then let's say you, your name is purple. Now you will now see that all these things here, they have receptors. Purple receptor. So this protein here we now move to go and meet this one because it corresponds. You can see purple. But you know, initially all the proteins were just proteins. They don't know where they are going to. They don't know what they are doing. So what happens is that Golgi apparatus will now label them first. Put something like a label on them. After it has labeled them, it will now what? Move them. That's the packaging and branding and all of that. That's the labeling. So to package it, brand it, put name, put identity, then what? Move them to the required place where they are needed. So who does that? Is the Golgi apparatus. Number 7, the cell membrane is described as selectively permeable. Selectively permeable. So you know the cell membrane is double layer, right? Bilayer. Then you have, this is the tail. You should know which one is hydrophobic and which one is hydrophilic. Everything has been explained in that material. Alright, the crash course material. So please do well to message me on WhatsApp to get it. So this is how your cell membrane looks like. This is how your cell membrane looks like this. Then this is the cell. Then the cytoplasm. This is the cytoplasm here. Then this is the cell membrane. Here, this is your cell membrane. So this cell membrane, and there's something that this cell membrane does. The cell membrane allows things to pass, but then it does not just allow anything to pass anyhow. It selects, and that's why it's known as selectively permeable. It is not completely permeable because it allows some things to pass, and then it does not allow some things to pass. And then it is not impermeable because some things can pass. Alright, so please take note of that. So the cell membrane is selectively permeable. Which structure is responsible for intracellular digestion? Lysosome. When you hear digestion, breakdown, destruction of anything related to the cell, your mind should go to lysosome. Please take note. Now, this question can still be rephrased to tell you which of the following organelle is most active in digestion of food. Please, no matter how you change the question, you should know the answer to the question. Number 9, the fluid mosaic model describes the structure of the cell membrane. Diffusion is the movement of particles from high concentration to low concentration. Now, remember that in transport, we have two types of transport. We have the active transport, and then we have the passive transport, right? Passive transport. Remember that transport does not just happen like that. Transport is happening against concentration gradients, right? And concentration gradients is from high to low. That is the normal. So high will be flowing to low. That is the normal. When high is flowing to low, it's normal. That is the normal concentration gradient. But then when low start flowing to high, that is where active transport comes, because it's going against the concentration gradient. So because it's going against the concentration gradient, it will need energy. So low to high is active transport, high to low is passive transport. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. So coming down from the stairs is easier than climbing the stairs. So just take it like that. So when you're coming down from the stairs, it's more like, well, let me not use stairs, let me use a swing, right? You know that those swing that looks like this, that you have ladder, here, something like ladder here, then you climb here, then now stay here, you now swing down like this place. You know that swing when you were small that used to play with it. Now this is high, right? This is low, and this is low. Low to high, are you using energy in this place? Yes, you're using energy in this place. So this is active because you're using energy. But high to low, you're not going to use energy. You just go down, slide, go down, you go enjoy yourself. So you're not using energy. So because you're not using energy, you already know that diffusion is not also using energy. Diffusion is passive. So because diffusion is passive, it is high to low. Please take note. Osmosis involves the movement of water molecules. Please take note. When you hear osmosis is only water. There's nothing like movement of gas. So if they give you a definition and tell you they put gas, just remove your mind. It can never be osmosis. Osmosis is just water molecule. I indicated those notes in the crash course. That osmosis is just for water. Number 12, active transport requires energy. I already explained that. Number 13, movement of substances from low to high concentration is called active transport. I already explained that. So when you are moving from low to high, it is active transport. In hypotonic solution, a cell will hypotonic solution. Let me say this is a cell. Remember, low to high. This is our formula, low to high. Low to high. So if this is a cell, so let me use another color. This is a cell, and then the cell is placed in a medium. Now this medium is hypotonic, which means it is low. So what happens is that low is going to flow to high. So water will now start entering this cell. When water enters this cell, the cell is going to swell, and when the cell swells, what will happen? It will burst. It's as simple as that. Then hypertonic, it will be the opposite. So let me say this is a cell, then this is the environment. What happens is that water will start flowing outside. So, and if water flows outside, what happens? It will shrink. Then in isotonic solution, it remains unchanged because it's the same. So nothing is flowing in, nothing is flowing out. The movement of gases like oxygen into cell occurs by diffusion. Remember, I said that when you hear movement of gases, you remove your mind from what? Osmosis. One. Then now it cannot be active transport because you did not say the movement using ATP. You just know that it move. So it's without ATP, which means that it is what? Diffusion. So this is how you answer question for your BIO101. You think critically. They are simple, but then again, don't just answer blindly. Alright. The mitochondria are often called the powerhouse of the cell. So we have the powerhouse of the cell. Alright, so the next question, we have question 19. Which organelle contains enzymes for digestion? We have already talked about this. You can see, same question but paraphrased. So we have lysosome. The cytoplasm is best described as it is a fluid medium containing organelles. Take note of that. You should know the difference between organelles and inclusions. Please take note, organelles and inclusions. You will find all these things in the crash course. Organelles and inclusions. You should take note of these two. They are not the same thing, or you will see them in your textbook also. 21. Endocytosis is the process by which cells take in material. When they say endo, inside. So what is happening is that the cell is taking in material. So this is the cell, right? And this is what the cell wants to take in, right? So what happens is that the cell will bring out projections like this, and what engulf this guy that he wants to eat. Then once it engulfs it, you now see that the cell will now look like something like this. So what is here is now inside. So you can see it now. That's taking it inside. That process is endocytosis. And endocytosis is an active transport. You are using energy. But now for this endocytosis, we have two types. We have phagocytosis and then we have pinocytosis. When you see phagocytosis is cell eating, pinocytosis is cell drinking. This question is very common. Most likely you also see it, phagocytosis and pinocytosis. Phago is eating, pino is drinking. Exocytosis is release of substance. If endo is taken in, exo is going to be released. 23. Which structure is present in plant cells or absent in animal cells? The cell wall. Now take note, they might also ask you a question as which carbohydrate is found in the cell wall. Please take note, it is the cellulose that is found in the cell wall. Which organelle is involved in protein transport within the cell? Protein transport. What transport protein? It is known as the endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum transports both protein and lipid. Please take note. Protein and lipid. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is for protein. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum is for lipid. Number 25. Which of the following processes does not require energy? Does active transport require energy? Yes, so this is wrong. Does exocytosis require energy? Yes. Exocytosis is a form of active. Endocytosis is a form of active. Correct answer is diffusion. Remember, diffusion is a passive transport. So the passive transport include diffusion, osmosis, and then facilitated diffusion. Please take note of that. Alright. So now we're moving to the last session, and this is the last session. Alright. So just for those people that I promised, I said I'm going to give you my question bank, which has about 300 questions. I'm covering everything in BIO101 from cover to cover. Alright. So these people are going to, I said I'm going to give you the first 100. Right? Okay, I've not said that, but now I'm saying I'm going to give the first 100 persons to message me. Okay, which means that for you to have gotten to this point, it means that you watched to this point. The first 100 persons to message me get the material for free. No, not the material now, the question bank. I'm giving the crash course. The crash course is for free. So please message me and get the crash course so you can use it to revise and consultate all these questions. But then the question bank, that question bank is so confidential and special to me. So I don't just give it anyhow. But then I'm going to give it to the first 100 persons because I know a lot of persons will come across this video. But then it's only the first 100 that I am going to give. So at this point, if you have watched this video to this point, please, if you have not subscribed, please try to subscribe. Please subscribe. You can't just be benefiting and then don't subscribe. Subscribe so that if another update drops, you are going to get the update. So let's treat the last session and then ecology is the study of. So ecology has to do with the interaction between organisms and their environment. This is quite very simple. Ecology, study of organisms and their environment, right? So number 2, a group of organisms of the same species living in an area is known as population. Same species. Once you see same species, your mind should not go anywhere again. Once you see same species, what should come to your mind is population. That is the only criteria that fits same species, population. Number 3, community consists of one species, different species living together, only plants, only animal. Take note, biology is so simple and sweet. Do you know why? When you say one species is kind of related to only plants. Only plant is kind of related to only animals. So which means that 3 options in the question cannot be correct. So different species is actually the correct answer. This is just me trying to do combination and permutation, just in case I don't know the answer to this question. But then I can look at the options and say, this one is relating to this one, relating to this one, and 3 options cannot be correct. Definitely just one. But then different species give you a community. So what happens? Let me say I have red. All these red, they are goats. Everybody here is a goat. This is a goat. Alright. Now, this is known as a population of goats. This in red, that I circled in red. It's known as a population of goats. Let me say this is now a green plant. Right? A green plant. Now, if this population of goats and population of green plants, they are not interacting together, what we are going to get is a community. So this is no longer a population. This is a community. So one population, another population will give you what? A community. So they can rephrase this question now and tell you that two or more population will give you what? Two or more population will give you a community. Please take note, a community. Next question. An ecosystem includes organisms only? No. Environment only? No. Organisms and their environment. So you can see this is a trend. This is a trend, right? This is a trend. But then I'm going to use the next question to explain the trend. Number 5. The biosphere refers to all ecosystem on Earth. So you can see this is a trend. The first in the hierarchy is population. So we have population. Population will give rise to what? Community. So we have community. Community. Then community will give rise to what? Ecosystem. Ecosystem. And I told you how it works now, right? I told you how it works. The first thing is population. Let me say population of goats. Then community, you now be seeing population of goat, population of rat, population of chicken, population of yam plant, population of grass, population of. Then now all of this population, when they now start interacting with their environment, like sand, water, air, it's now ecosystem. So ecosystem is more like living plus non-living. So if you see a question, they tell you living plus non-living, the answer is ecosystem. But then if you now add all the ecosystems together, what we are going to get is a biosphere. Biosphere. It's as simple as that. Next question. Habitat is best defined as habitat is a place where an organism lives. It's quite simple. Which of the following is abiotic? Is an abiotic factor. Remember, abiotic is non-living and biotic is living. So plants is living, animals living, bacteria is living. So the correct answer is temperature. Temperature is abiotic factor. Which of the following is a biotic? That means which of the following is a living? Soil is non-living, water non-living, light non-living. So the correct answer to this question are predators. Predators are not abiotic, they are living, so they are biotic. Next question. Tertiary habitat refers to land habitat, that's tertiary. Then aquatic refers to water, that's river and oceans. 11. A food chain shows linear relationship, linear feeding relationship, that's a food chain. So food chain always starts with plants, because plants are producers. If plants don't produce the food, there is no food for other consumers. So you have plants, which is producer, then producer to primary consumer, then primary consumer to secondary consumer to tertiary consumer, then tertiary consumer you now have decomposers. So all of this pathway that you are seeing is known as food chain. It's a food chain. Then when this pathway now becomes cyclic like this, you now be seeing stuff like this, you know it is a food web. Number 12, a food web is interconnected food chain. Like I said, interconnected or web-like. Producers in an ecosystem are usually plants. I've talked about that. Why? Because they produce their food by themselves. Primary consumers are herbivorous. So what feeds on the plant? Herbivorous. Those are the primary consumers. Alright, so the next question. Secondary consumer. So secondary consumer feed on what? Secondary consumer feed on the herbivorous. Remember, the first is plants. Then what will feed on plants? Herbivorous. What will now feed on herbivorous? The secondary consumers. Remember, this is producer. This is primary consumer, which is herbivorous. So secondary producer will feed on the herbivorous. Number 16. Energy flow in an ecosystem is one direction. That's linear form. It is one directional. 17. Energy is lost at each tropic level as heat. That is the way energy is lost. 18. Mutualism is a relationship where both benefits. Mutual. I collect, you too, you collect. That's mutual. Commensalism is I collect, you don't collect, but you will not cry. You will still be happy. So commensalism is one will benefit and the other is unaffected. So as I benefit, as I collect, it's not affecting, right? Number 20, parasitism. Please take note, parasitism and predation. These two. They used to use it to set trap in exam. Parasitism and predation. In parasitism, one benefits and the other is harmed. Now, this harm can be diseases, can be sickness, can be anything. The harm say can even be death, right? That is parasitism. But then predation is the harm is always death. There's nothing like you be sick first. Maybe lion tear your head, you not be sick first before you die. No, that one is straight death, right? So that's the difference between parasitism. Parasitism first, the parasite will attack, then you see some symptoms and this is leading to sickness before death comes in. Alright, so the best definition is one benefit and the other is harm. So if you say one benefit and the other is harm, you know that it's parasitism. But if they say one benefit and the other is kill, you know it's predation. This statement. Predation involves one organism killing another for food. That is predation. So you are a predator if you kill somebody for food. And those people or those animals or those organisms that are killed are known as prey. While for parasitism, those organisms that are affected are known as hosts, while those that are enjoying are the parasites. 22. Competition occurs when organisms compete for limited resources. In fact, the answer is even in the options. They're very strict, and the answer is in the question rather. Competition, and then they are giving you compete. So it's kind of very related. 23. Remember, adaptation refers to getting used to an environment, but then why are you getting used to an environment? To survive. So when you get traits that helps you improve survival, it is known as adaptation. 24. Which of the following is an example of a tertiary habitat forest? Because ocean is water, river is water, lake is also water. Then you have 25, which is the last. Which factor affects aquatic habitat the most? We have salinity. Salinity affects it the most. Salinity. Gravity, wind, sound, all of this. The most is salinity. Alright, so we have come to the end of this first video. Please do well to hit the subscribe button if you are not subscribed to this channel. Ensure you like this video. Put a comment section if you also want me to do a crash course for chemistry or do a video like this for chemistry exam. Please indicate in the comment section, and also indicate if you are interested in me dropping the next video. Alright, so the next video I said I divided into 3 sections. As you can see, there's no genetics here, there's no reproduction here, there's no evolution here. So the next video I'm going to dealing with these 3. So if you are interested, please put it in the comment section now. Oh, I am interested, please drop the next video. Alright, so remember the criteria. I said this video gets engagement, I'm going to watch the next video. But then if it does not get engagement, I'm not going to drop the next video because I want comment. Alright, so do well to share it with your friends. Alright, so bye guys, see you in the next video.